of the construction growth in the industry came just before the 2010 World Cup. So we've gone from an industry that was very dormant, or it was stagnant, and we've gone to an industry that is quite active at the moment, and it's a big contributor to the GDP. So in terms of what government has done, or the development of the construction industry, we have seen steady growth, but now we're sitting with a situation where we have to question ourselves as to whether this is a sustainable growth that we've experienced. What we see is there's planning within government structures. However, there's no consultation or transparency in terms of how these projects are going to be implemented and when they will be implemented. What we suggest is for all stakeholders within the construction industry, so that's the public sector, the private sector, the community, or the end users of these services, to actually come together and actually plan on implementation. We can see that not everybody is involved in the planning and implementation of the project. So in terms of the infrastructure Codesa, we're calling on all the major construction companies, construction material suppliers, small to medium enterprises, our big construction companies, to come together and actually assist government in implementing the National Development Plan. Over the last 5 years, we've seen quite substantial allocations to public infrastructure. However, during the actual process, or in midterm, we actually find that municipalities and provincial governments are not spending their allocated budgets. And that's a problem, because that is a direct result of poor planning, poor governance, and the inability to actually implement projects. So that is where we actually need to work on. Is we've got a lot of projects, and a prime example is the NDP. The plan in terms of the National Development Plan is there. However, we need to focus on the implementation and how we're going to go about managing these projects. And that is why we're calling for an infrastructure Codesa. So there's transparency in terms of how these projects are going to be rolled out. And there's also a skills exchange, because the private sector will be able to contribute their skills and expertise in terms of project management, which is clearly something that's lacking within government. So the infrastructure Codesa would basically be for the private sector to meet up with the public sector and actually have a look and see how we can actually package projects that can be implemented as soon as possible.